Hello and welcome to all new and returning viewers to episode 21 of the Herwoodian Crafter podcast. I'm Jutta, I'm coming to you from Tampere, Finland, and this is my podcast about knitting and crocheting and sewing and just all kinds of crafting. It's probably been around a month since I last uploaded anything. I did record an episode maybe 2 weeks ago, but for whatever reason it took me ages to get editing, and even after the editing I wasn't really completely happy with how the episode turned out. I can't place my finger on why, but I wasn't happy, so I'm making a more up-to-date reshoot. I'm also thinking that this will be the last episode I do with this format. I have mentioned it in previous episodes that I want to move into a more project-based format, that each episode is kind of journaling one project from start to finish. And I don't think that I'm extremely close in getting any of those projects done, but I feel like the episodes with this current format are getting a little bit boring because I'm holding back on the more interesting, or what I feel are more interesting projects, because I want to make them into their own episodes. So from now on, I'm aiming to upload some content once a month, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna be, to be quite honest, I should be calling this a podcast anymore, because that would be more like video blogging or something else than a podcast. I think it would be more of some sort of a video blog, but yeah, I'll be aiming for uploading content, knitting content once a month. And if I get something done sooner, then I'm not sure if I'm gonna be doing something like maybe doing a little bit of a buffer. So if there is a bigger project that needs more time, then I would have I can upload something smaller in between and then focus on the bigger project. I don't know yet. Or then I might just upload something in less than a month. Upload knitting content sooner than once a month. And I think that if I have some sewing content, I will be uploading that in between the knitting content. So yeah. But yeah, maybe that's enough about that. Hopefully you understood it, and of course I still have a quite small viewership, so I don't think anybody's day is going to be ruined, and I haven't had much success in having a very regular kind of a regular schedule, even though I want that. So I don't think anyone will be very disappointed that I'm kind of dialing it down with the knitting content. But I'm hoping to have better quality content with this solution. But yeah, enough about that, I think. And let's get to what I've been making in the last month since you last saw my projects. So I have some finished projects, some half-finished projects, some new projects. So let's get to it. This is the brioche hat that I did for my kit. So it's all finished. I have we've woven in the ends already, but I'm not gonna be wet blocking this because I feel like this is already a little bit kind of a loose hat on him, so I don't want it to kind of really kind of stretch out before it's in use. And actually it's really kind of getting, it looks like we're getting to summer actually. We've had very kind of beginning of summer weather here, very warm days, and I'm just loving it. That I love that our kind of sucky spring went by really fast, because I really don't feel like the Finnish spring is very pretty, because we have all the snow melting and slush and cold weather and ice, and it's just not for me. So I feel like we went past that really fast. So now it's getting to summer, so this will be probably for next winter. And this stretches out quite a bit, so I feel like this is going to fit him next winter as well. I have no pattern for this. This is just out of my own head. I did kind of take some measurements and stuff from a hat he already has, which we bought from a second-hand shop, but I didn't write anything down. This is just out of my head. I think I used 3.25mm needles all throughout this, but I don't even remember anymore. If someone wants to know, then I think I've showed this in 2 or 3 previous episodes. I can't remember when I started this, but I'm sure I talked about it better in there. I also finished the bubbly fingerless mitts that I was doing for my sister, but I happened to finish them, and then we saw each other quite soon after that, so I already gave them to her. But you've seen them in many episodes, at least 2 or 3 episodes before this, so if you are a returning viewer, then you will have seen them multiple times already. But yeah, those are the finished objects, and then I have a few half objects, and these are from the yarn I showed you in the last episode, which I dyed myself. So I have 3 single ankle length socks. These are also patterned straight from my own head, and I am writing this pattern down, because even though I feel like just about everyone and their mums have an ankle, especially a vanilla ankle length sock patterns, I don't know. My thinking is that I would be doing kind of more of a recipe with small, medium, and large sizes, and also fingering weight, DK weight, and worsted weight yarn being used. So, because I feel like many of the ankle length socks are, or just about most of the sock patterns on Ravelry are fingering weight, because of course I get it that most people use that for socks, but here in Finland I feel like we do use heavier weight yarns as well, so I should actually do a search and see how many DK and worsted weight ankle length sock patterns there are. But even if there are those, they might not be in the same pattern, so I think that's not a bad idea. So yeah, I have these 3 ready, and I'm doing one at a time because I don't want to get bored with the color, and it's working fine so far. I'm using 3mm needles with these, so this is about DK weight, I think the yarn is, or something in between. I'm still not sure. I remember looking it up at some point, because at first I was thinking that this yarn weight is more a sport weight, but it's not that, and I feel like it might be something between sport and DK, because I don't feel like this is heavy enough to be DK, so I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah. And then I have this one's pair in this state, so I have turned the heel and started working on the gusset decreases. And I really kind of fell in love with this color in particular. I don't know why this would be more. For some reason, I think it has to do with seeing the very slight variation in the color, which isn't as obvious with these two socks, even though of course it's not store kind of commercial factory grade evenness. It's a solid color, but of course you can't get it to be that even, but it's much more obvious in this, and for some reason this really I really kind of like this color. So yeah, I think I mentioned it. I think I mentioned in the last episode that that I have 50 grams per color, and I think that should be enough for an ankle length sock. And this is how much I have left of this color. So, and I haven't weighed this, so I don't know, but this should be enough, I think, for a pair of ankle length socks. Yes. Then I have two new projects. Let's stick with the knitting for starters. This kind of small acquisition snippet, but I visited all in between the last and this episode, and I saw a friend of mine who had some textile dyes, which she said she didn't use and didn't think that she would. Yeah, she didn't want them anymore. They're quite old, but yeah, she just, because she knows that I'm dabbling in yarn dyeing, and she thought that I might have good use. They are quite old, but I don't think that, because they're powder form, I don't think that they go bad. So so I actually, with that, and that came an idea that, well, actually, I'm really kind of, I feel like I'm just kind of disjointed. But yeah, I got many capsules of those, the Dulon textile dye, and I got yellow and orange and red dyes from her. And then my mom called, and we have basically officially it's my mom's aunt, but they're very good friends, and yeah, and she's turning 70. That my mom's aunt is turning 70 next week. I'm not sure of the proper birth date, but we're celebrating here in Tampere next week. So my mom called me with the idea of me maybe dyeing up some yarn and knitting something for her, because she is the type of person that actually can appreciate that properly. And because of the textile dyes I got from my friend, the colors weren't what my mom said that the aunt usually wears. So I went out and bought some blue dye, and these turned out really, really kind of lovely. I really like them, and so I dyed up to 50 grams skeins of merino superwash, and it's this really kind of dark blue. I think that's a little bit maybe lighter than it is in real life, but really kind of the textile dye packet color was named marine, so basically a very kind of dark navy blue. So this is not quite navy dark blue, but it's close. And I really kind of love how these turned out. And I'm making a Queenie Goldstein cowl out of these. I made one before. I have shown it here. I did it out of KVG Polworth Superwash yarn. It was the colorway name was Sour, so really kind of a bright apple green. And I have some issues with that, but I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, so this pattern I have made before. So it's very basic vanilla cowl, except for having a lace pattern in one section. And I also did a little bit of modification because the edge is picot edge, as you can see, and the pattern doesn't give instructions for that, but of course it's a very small modification, so it's easy to make. I also did a provisional cast on and then just joined them together as I went, because I dislike doing weaving in ends and sewing and all that, so anything I can kind of anything I can basically make easier for myself, that's what I'm gonna do. And this was easier for me, so excuse me. So yeah, this is maybe I would say 2 days worth of knitting. So I think I'm going to be finishing this up in the next few days, because this of course takes takes priority before my other knitting project, because it's a gift and I want to be able to give it to her, and it's such a small project that I see no point in kind of drawing it out and risking not getting it finished. But yeah, I really kind of like the end result of the dyed yarn, and the pattern was for DK weight yarn, so this is fingering, which I'm holding double. But yeah, that's what I did with the previous version of this. That's what I did before as well. So I know it will work out quite well. And then the last project I'm going to share with you for now is it's actually a crochet project, because like I said, it's getting to be very summery. I'm not saying we won't take a little backward steps, but I realized that we don't have a good summery hat for the kid. So what did I do? I went on Ravelry and searched for crocheted summer hat. I think the pattern was called something like Charlie Bucket Hat. And yeah, I just had the had some. This is Shahmar Catania yarn, cotton yarn, and I think I didn't look that closely on how heavyweight the what the kind of yarn weight was for the pattern, so I have to kind of do a little bit of a modification as I go along, but I think this will be very nice and cool. That's the main issue. That the hats we have for him are a little bit maybe too hot for the summer, and also of course the brim is always a plus, so the sun doesn't get into his eyes as much and provide a little bit of shade. And yeah, this is also going along quite fast, I think. Well, actually I did have to rip back because because with the original pattern I did as they instructed at first, but I felt like the circumference wasn't, well, it could have been enough because this will stretch quite a bit, but I felt like it's no fun wearing a hat that kind of feels like it's too tight. So yeah, I ripped back on this section and did one more round, so that this is basically a circle, and then you just stop adding the I need to get better at talking about the terminology on crocheting, but I think it's, at least in American, it's double crochet. So these columns, we call, in Finland the word we use for it is column, but yeah, you stop adding double crochets, and then it will start growing in, kind of, yeah. So yeah, I'm using this mangled 3mm crochet hook. This is on purpose because it was a little bit heavy for my hand. I used this kind of grip to crochet, so there was too much weight in this end, so I took a knife and I mangled this, but it's much more usable now. So this will probably also take maybe 2 or 3 days to get finished, so hey. Then that's it for the yarn-based projects. I did a few acquisitions some weeks back because I realized that I did have a very good kind of a spring autumn jacket when you need more than one layer. You can't use just a thin jacket, but the winter jackets are too heavy, so kind of a mid-season change, whatever it's called, a jacket. I did have one which I had been using for more than 10 years, but around 10 years, and was absolutely at the end of its road. The kind of outer fabric was kind of falling apart, and the jacket, the pockets were falling apart, and I just had to give it up. Finally, I have been thinking about it for maybe 1 or 2 winters, that it's getting to be so used up that yeah. But now I finally felt that I really needed to let it go. And of course, since I lost that great jacket, which I loved very much, I went online and did a search for a similar type of jacket. And what I found was a company called Waffle Patterns. It was new to me pattern company, but I found a really nice jacket pattern for it, and I think I will be doing that before autumn. Of course, since we blew past that stage of the spring, there's really no point in me making it right now, and it's a little bit of a more complicated one, so I just need to kind of get on my courage and just try it with maybe some cheaper, or do the wearable muslin before I actually do the proper jacket. So yeah, I found from Waffle Patterns site. I found the jacket pattern. It's called Caneel. I want to say Caneel in English. I would have never mind. And I also found a lovely oversized top, which I'm actually wearing right now. So of course I had to buy fabric for it, because the knits and jersey fabrics I have right now don't have enough yardage to do this kind of pattern or this kind of a shirt. But let me just kind of scoot back and show you what it is. So it's this really kind of very oversized pattern with loose fit, and it actually this doesn't show it properly, but this piece is cut a little bit diagonally. You can maybe see it close by that it's actually kind of like this. And if I were to have a more kind of a more patterned fabric, it would show it off much more. The only thing I would change maybe for the next time, because I do feel like this is such a comfy top that I could do it again, is that I would maybe do these just a little bit tighter, because these tend to fall down, and then it's really kind of feels a little bit awkward for me. And then also I might kind of drop this just a little bit, or at least this part of it, because this as you can see there, the kind of this part is also diagonal, so I would probably just lengthen this just a tiny bit more, because I feel like this seam is just a little bit too kind of not seems wrong, but maybe just a little bit too short, because it just kind of cinches it up all the time. But yeah, I really kind of, I've been wearing this a lot since I made this. It actually should go into the wash quite soon. But yeah, it's just so comfortable, and I really like the V-neck detail. It didn't come out perfect, but as a first effort, it was really, I feel like it's a really good one, and I really like the V-neck. So I will probably stick with that, and then maybe see about getting a more patterned fabric for the next version. And that transitioned very well to my sewing content, and I have a few project bags that I've done since. I think in the last episode, this was the project bag that I showed to you, and I still really like the way it came out, but I did want to try and make a bigger version of that, so I had a go. Didn't work out quite as I thought it might, because I had evening foggy brain syndrome. So this is the project bag that I made next. As you can see, it's very big, and of course there is, I've actually filled it with a project, and I will say this, the project in here is one that I will make its own episode out of, so I'm not going to show it to you right now, but I will say that this holds I think about 400 grams in cake form, maybe more than 400 grams, and then there is probably about 200 grams worth of project already knit up. So this is, for that kind of a project, this is a really kind of lovely size that I can still close this up and have my project be safe. And yeah, I didn't mean to make this into such a big bag, because the problem was with this part. I completely kind of yeah, fumble. Well, not fumbled because it's a usable bag, but I didn't intend this part to be as tall as it was. So basically, in um, in the smaller project bag, this part is the same width, and this is a longer one than in the smaller project bag. So, yeah. Also, this handle is a lot wider than I maybe meant to do, or than I had some other form of kind of foggy moments. And yeah, so but I really like this gentle green fabric in the bottom. But of course, since that didn't quite work out as I planned, I did another version of that. So then I made this one. And the fabric is really kind of lovely. All of the bottom fabrics are something that I have bought quite a long time ago. I'm not sure if I have showed any of these before. Maybe it might be that I showed them in the beginning, some of the beginning episodes, but I can't remember anymore. But yeah, I really kind of like these as kind of space shuttles and UFOs and moons and stars, and it's really kind of lovely and whimsical. And yeah, so as you can see, it's a lot smaller on the top section, and this is what I was going for when I did this. So just small kind of a small kind of a error in judgment, maybe. Yeah, I'm really kind of liking those, and they're easy enough to make. So with that said, I will go into the major announcement that I have, because I have opened up an Etsy shop. I talked about this, well, I have mentioned it quite a few times if you've watched all of my episodes, and I had to kind of stop talking about it because some of you were getting confused with whether or not I had actually opened the shop or not. So I said that I will stop talking about it until I have actually done it. And now I have. Unsurprisingly, the shop name is Herwoodian Crafter, and I have actually reserved that name before the new year. So in last December I actually reserved it, but I was kind of, for some reason this is so kind of I would almost say scary to me that I just kind of had to let myself calm down from that, and then it was just not getting it done. So so even though I kind of reserved the name and the shop in December, there hasn't been anything listed in the shop, but now there is. I did it some weeks ago, and then I breathed into a bag for a week, and then I recorded something, and I talked about this in that episode, that kind of video that I did but never uploaded. Now I will show you the yarns that I've dyed some time ago, which I think I have showed you before, maybe last autumn or start of winter. I think I showed them, but of course I can't know if you've seen all of them, so if you're watching it now you will see them again. And yeah, I will be making some of these project bags to be sold in the Etsy shop as well, but there isn't any any project bags yet. But yeah, the things I have for sale in the shop right now. These are I have this kind of a container, a box of yarn at the moment. All of these yarns are fingering weights. Most of them are 75% wool and 25% polyamide, but there are some yarn that is merino. It's 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. But yeah, let's just go through these. So these are 200 gram skeins. As you can see, they are different shades, but the kind of sister colors. Of course, I wouldn't sell them if I didn't love them. But out of two of these, I think this might be a bit more to my liking, just because I feel like it's a lovely kind of lilac-y, lavender, purple, light purple. But the bad thing is that I'm not exactly sure what I did to get this outcome. I have repeated this. This is actually quite similar to this yarn. As you can see, it's very, very similar. But I can't remember what I did with this yarn. But I will be doing if you people were to buy the yarn that I sell, this is definitely a yarn color that I would want to sell more of, or repeat this kind of colorway. So I will have to do some experiments and read some of my notes if I can, because I do think that I did write this down, but I will just have to experiment a little bit on which of the patterns it is, which of the kind of instructions, recipes I use to get this. But yeah, these are 100 grams, then I have one more 100 grams, the rest of them are of smaller quantities, and it's blowing out a little bit, and I feel like from the last recording the greens will blow out more than the rest will, but this is a lovely kind of, it's a little washed out on there, but it's a lovely kind of very, very basic green, but there are some places that it's a little bit more yellowy green, and then there's a dark kind of a maybe bluer green, and I find this is really kind of lovely, and I will be saying lovely and words like that quite often. Then there are a few 50 gram skeins of the merino yarn. This one and that one. Talk about these first. So once again, tonal reddish purple or pinkish purple, quite similar to that one of those that I showed you just now. Then there is a very kind of lovely tonal blue one. It's not quite as, it's just a little bit maybe more turquoise in my hand than it is on screen, but a very kind of basic blue, but still I really like it. And then actually these were supposed to be a series, but this one really didn't turn out like I wanted it to be. So this was meant to be long gradient from yellow to blue, but as you can see, it's mostly green, so it failed. There's the other end is a lot more yellow than the other end, but as you can see, this is mainly green, and it's really blowing out. This one on screen, I think maybe that might be just a little bit closer to what it really is, but this is kind of a faded, but it's not as faded as it is on screen. But these two turned out a lot better. This one, well, you can see yellow to red and red to blue, or maybe I should say pinkish red. Yeah, maybe that's more pink than red, but anyways. This one was a surprise because I thought it would go through kind of a purple phase. Like in here you can see there's more of an orange tones in between, but it didn't. It just kind of, the blue fades out and the red fades in. So, but I don't mind that the purple is missing here, but that's what I thought it would do, but it doesn't. And I really do find this lovely. And you can that be maybe the best representation of how the fade goes through the skein. And this one worked out a lot better than the best out of these three. I don't remember in which order I made these, but anyway, I really think these are fun. Then I have many sock sets, because I think when I started dyeing these, Tour de Sock was still going on, and I felt it was kind of, I thought it would be kind of a fun idea to, in honor of Tour de Sock, to make sock sets. So I have two that are similar in color, but the yarn is different. So this is wool and this is merino, but as you can see, they've been dyed the same way. The bigger one is 50 grams and the smaller one is 25 grams, so it should be enough for an average sock pair. Of course, if these are going to a person with larger feet, the kind of you won't be able to make it as kind of long, but it should be enough for an average, so because it's 75 grams, it should be enough. Yeah, so the bigger one is kind of a very variegated. This is a bluish purple, and then there's more of the lilac-y lighter purple type, and yeah. Then I have this pair, which makes me think of something like silver and gold. This is a little bit more of a warm yellow than it shows up on my screen, but I think it's kind of, yeah, makes me think of silver and gold. And then there is this pair. Once again, it's wool, and once again the green is really blowing out, and this makes me think of kind of the inside of an avocado with this, and then the avocado pit. So I think this one might be one of my favorite pairing out of all of these, even though of course they're my babies, I love them all, but I think this is a really kind of lovely pairing. And then there's this pair, maybe bananas and chocolate, could be. This is a more faded yellow from the previous yellows, but still kind of a very warm faded yellow. This is merino. And then there's one more pair with this. This looks much more blue than it is in my hand. It's a bluish purple, and not just blue. There are purple tones in here, and then this grey one for the heels, cuffs and toes. So those are those. I think I tried very hard. I think I got them I got the product pics quite close to reality on the shop. But of course, if you shop online, you know that it's very difficult not only to get them as close to reality as possible, but also because people's screen settings are a little bit different, so that distorts the pictures or the colors in the pictures a little bit. But I tried very hard, and I will continue trying very hard. But that's just something to keep in mind. But of course, if you buy on online, you're probably aware of that already. But then a little bit of a blather about my wares or products. The yarn is the base is just the things that I can get my hands on easily at the moment. Of course, the thing and the yarn that I would use myself and do use myself quite a lot. I do feel like if people find my yarn and want to buy my yarn, and if that starts kind of that ball starts rolling more, I will be looking into buying the bases from somewhere in bulk, and also maybe getting more of a variety on what the fiber content is, and also the yarn weights. That I won't sell only fingering weight. I want to sell more heavier weight yarns and maybe lace weight as well. But of course, because right now I don't know if anyone wants to buy anything I do, I felt it safe to just kind of stick to what I know theoretically could sell, or what is commonly used and used a lot. So yeah, I also do feel like I might want to look into getting fiber that the bases are cruelty free, but I'm not sure how much more expensive that is. I know that's a selling point for many if they know that the wool they're knitting with is cruelty free, but I do kind of want to make sure that it's affordable, even though of course hand-dyed yarn is also always a kind of a luxury item. But yeah, I will look into it if sales were to happen a lot. But yeah, I also don't have colorway names for my yarn at the moment. I do want to come up with them, but that's coming up with names is always kind of hard for me. So I will put my thinking cap on and just kind of slowly start coming up with names. I do also have kind of a fun system that I will be using for the bases and the yarn colors, and I will be explaining more on those once I get them more kind of once I have kind of once I have come up with more colorway names and stuff like that. Yeah, like I said, I will be adding project bags in there hopefully soon, once I get them done. And then the shipping costs that I have listed in there are my best educated guess. I did kind of look through our postal services prices, and that's just my kind of estimation on like, in theory I could get them out for this price, but of course I haven't sold anything yet, I haven't sent anything out yet, so I don't know. But if you were to buy something now and then come back later and buy something else and notice that the shipping costs are more than they were, it will be because I got it wrong. Of course, I will with these items, I don't think that I will. If I make a sale and the shipping costs are wrong, I will take the hit and correct myself in the future. But just as a warning that if you notice that the shipping costs have gone up, it will be because I was wrong and I can't get them out that with those prices. What else did I have in my notes? Yeah. I don't think that I will be making any kind of larger updates on the Etsy shop. I will kind of add items in there in real time, and when I get 1 or 2 bags done, I will add them there, and then maybe if I yarn up to sell, I will add them just as I go along, because now that I inserted the yarn that I've just shown you, it's not difficult, but I do feel like I will get more, or there will be. It just feels easier for me that once I get something ready, I will just add them to the shop straight away. So that of course means that from day to day there might be something new to sell, and I will, even with the new format, I will do. I will be doing Etsy videos, Etsy videos maybe once a month that will talk just about what I have in the shop right now. Once a month is kind of the starting point, but of course if I don't sell anything, I don't see a point in kind of showing things to you again and again. So if I don't sell anything, I will not be making the same type of Etsy video every month, because there's no point. That's just waste of everybody's time. But if there were to be a little bit of traffic in there, I would do a video with my Etsy content, maybe once a month, talk about what new things, what I have in there at the moment, and if I've done something new. Hopefully I will be adding new things there, because people have bought something from that, hopefully, maybe. And the last thing I wanted to mention is I don't think this will be a problem for a long time, but and this is a boring subject, but I feel the need to mention it, that since I'm not working outside the home, and I'm mainly my what you want to call income comes from welfare benefits, there are limits to how much I can make on top of that. So I will need to be a little bit careful on how much I make from the Etsy shop. Now, if it were to happen that people really like what I sell and were to buy a lot of it, I would be very happy to make it into a business, or just kind of start a business for myself with that, and get off the benefits. That will make me really happy. But of course, for now, I have no idea whether that will ever come true, or if anyone will ever buy anything I sell. But we'll have to see. Hopefully, it will go okay. Really, really trying to keep my optimism up, even though I have a very kind of cruel voice in my head. Why on earth would anyone want to buy anything you sell? But that's my own issue, and I'm not gonna bore you with that. But yeah, that was the last thing I had to share with you. I will share the Etsy shop link in the description box, and then there's nothing else left to say except thank you very much for spending your time with me. If you liked my episode, maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already, and then also maybe if you could maybe push the like button, and then just head over to my Etsy shop and see if there's anything you like. If not, that's on me, and thanks for your interest. But until I see you next time, I hope you have a really lovely time crafting. So, see you next time, and bye bye!